Right, we are back. Another episode of Your Relationship Sucks! Exclamation point.
Exclamation
Here,
point.
breaking down questions from around the world on relationships, helping just a couple of people, helping some other people who are struggling their relationships out. Probably telling them how dumb their problem is, and just stop being stupid. Let's figure this out. It's really not that difficult. And again, I haven't seen any of these, but you got something good picked out for us.
Yes.
So what do you have?
Yeah, just as a
Question of the
reminder,
day.
I'm going to say the main headline, and then you're going to say your initial reaction.
Yep.
So this one today is, my husband introduced his other partner to our friends without telling me.
Think it was a smart decision. Honestly, think it was a smart decision. I've considered it. I think the guy was right. I think he's going to be right. I think it's going to turn out that this lady is overreacting. I'm assuming it's a lady. I don't actually know if that's true, but I'm assuming it's a lady.
I'm not. Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to call her a lady, whatever. If it's a dude.
I guess I made that assumption.
You can write me, whatever. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to assume that this lady is wrong.
Okay. It seems like it because the husband, anyway. My husband and I have been in an open, let's start over. My husband and I have an open marriage, and we both have partners. My husband and his new partner love each other, and it bothers me because it happened so fast. He came to me and told me that he had strong feeling for her, and I was okay with that. But then he went forward telling her he loves her before I had time to fully process it. I know his love for me hasn't changed and that he will always love me. I also know that his love for his partner is not the same love he has for me. Recently, I found out he introduced his other partner to our close mutual friends without letting me know. He said he felt like it was okay because it was spontaneous. Our friends wanted to meet her and it seemed like the perfect opportunity. I had no idea he was planning this. Our 3 rules to make this work are trust, honesty, and communication. I feel like the communication was broken, and I do not like that I've seen pictures of his other partner with our mutual friends. I felt my space with our friends was violated because that's who we hang out with together. Was it right for him to do so without letting me know? If I can't/don't meet her, should our close friends meet her? Should his girlfriend be friends with our mutual friends that we have always hung out around with? If we don't give details to each other of our other partners, should details be kept from those friends too? Was it okay for him to tell our close friends he thinks he loves her too? Am I overreacting to the fact that he went and did something with our friends and with his other partner without discussing it with me first, but he discussed it with those friends first?
Jesus Christ, this lady asked like 15 questions. Okay, all right.
I know.
So number one, those aren't rules. Like your 3 rules, those are just things that exist, right? Those are just like concepts that people talk about. Those are not rules. If that's the rules that you guys set down, bad job. Like just legitimately bad job. I'm not even being a dick. I'm telling you, like you violated rule number 3 because you obviously didn't communicate with each other, right? Like if that's just the rule, like you just said, like we have to have trust, we have to have communication. That's a bullshit rule. That's not a rule, right? That's just like something you say in order to get the deal done. I mean, that's bad negotiating, is what that is. So
yeah, I would even say those are like general things that you expect of a lot of people. Like those are just like loose social construct.
Right.
Like it's like
what I'm saying. Like those are not rules. They're just flat out not rules. Those are absolutely not rules. So has he violated your rules? I don't have a goddamn clue if he's violated your rules. I literally don't. I have no idea if he's violated your rules. Your rules are so vague that I'm probably violating them right now. I honestly have no idea. Like that doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I guess we could take her questions one by one, but Jesus Christ. Okay, so here's my question. At any point in there, and I didn't really get she kind of said it, but she didn't say it outright. Again, would be good if you clarified your fucking rules for us to answer your fucking question, but also maybe for yourself so that you had any goddamn idea what the fuck you were doing. Did she say that they have partners, but the rule is that they don't introduce them to the friend. Obviously, what she said. So she said that they don't introduce them to each other, right? So I can, so like you and I could have our own additional respective partners, but you couldn't meet mine and I couldn't meet yours, right? Is that accurate?
I believe, but she wasn't clear about it. I mean, that's
Okay,
why
okay,
I was
that's
intrigued
fine.
by this question as well.
That's
It's
fine.
like
So we'll say that's true. Whatever. All right, fine. Um, does she say that they're not supposed to meet the friends as well?
it sounds like it wasn't talked about, and it was like an assumption that any new thing they did with their partner was going to be talked about first.
Okay.
And that
So
was like under the blanket communication rule.
Okay. So number one, do you think that this is their first partners? Like this is their first of their relation, of their open relationship. This is the first partners that they've had.
No, so like what I think is this might be the first partner she feels that her husband cares about,
Got it. Okay. So this
maybe
is
as
not.
equally.
So this is not the
That's
first
my
one.
that's like what I'm
Okay.
getting. I don't know about you. I don't know that. She doesn't say it,
Okay,
but it
that's
sounds
fine.
like
That's fine.
she's comfortable, but like the I love you was the thing that made her
Yeah,
uncomfortable.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
the trigger.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Okay, so, okay, all right. So she is, Jesus Christ. If you're gonna be in an open relationship, okay, number one, like if you're gonna be in a fucking open relationship, you need to be very, very fucking clear about what you do and don't feel comfortable with. Like, very clear with what you do and don't feel comfortable with. To answer one of the 75 questions she asked, yes, he is wrong for having spontaneously introduced them without having this conversation with you. As an addendum to that, you are also wrong because this is a fucking conversation the two of you should have had earlier. Like there should be a very clear rule about when this person can and can't meet people and all that stuff. Because it sounds like you have a rule that says that you guys can't meet each other's partners. So you've obviously had some sort of rule set up, but you didn't think about your friends, which is real weird, especially because I can't understand if your friends. Do you think the friends know about the open relationship? I can't tell. I don't know.
They have to because it's the way she worded it was.
Oh, that's true.
The
Yeah, so
friends
he
introduced because they were excited to meet there, and he's been talking, and he's been, I guess, mentioning that he has strong feelings for the girlfriend.
Yeah, that's right. No, you're right. You're right. Okay, so
the friends,
your friends
seem cool with it. They're psychologically on board as well.
Okay, so here's the thing: if you have friends and whatever, and they're cool with it, like good for you. Like that's awesome. If you have these people and they're gonna be in these relationships, again, you need to have a fucking rule as to what is and what isn't allowed. Like it's not that difficult. Hey, by the way, like I don't really want this person coming around our friend group. Like hey, don't really want you to introduce these people to your family. It's really not that difficult. Like that's not a hard thing to do. These are very bright lines you can set, and everybody can have different ones and all that bullshit. But you need to have these conversations. The problem that I have with her, like the legitimate problem that I have with this woman, is that she's delusional. I don't think the guy is right. Okay, I don't think what he did was wrong. Absolutely, 100%. What he did was wrong. And like you said, that falls under whatever Rule 3 was, which fine.
Communication.
That falls under there. You guys should have talked about this, but she's also wrong about that. So it's not his fault. It's both of your faults. The problem that I have with her is when she said, "I know my husband's love for me hasn't changed." That's blatantly untrue. Like that's just objectively delusional. Like legitimately delusional. This is not how human beings work, right? Every single day, your feelings for somebody else change. Like they just always change. They just 100%. They're always changing. Sometimes you like them more. Sometimes you like them less. Whatever. But I'm not even talking about day-to-day fluctuations. I'm saying, honestly, think about this. When you've had a friend, right? Like you've had a friend in the past and you're real close with them, right? And then like you were sort of distant from them for a little while or something, and you had a new friend that came in to your life, right? That you were hanging out with more and stuff like that, right? the way you felt about your old friend changed. It didn't mean you didn't love your old friend or whatever. Like, that's not what it meant. But it changed. Like, it just did. It did. Like, they meant something different to you, right? You had a new crutch. They meant something different to you. Didn't mean you didn't want them there. Didn't mean all that stuff. Didn't mean they weren't even the priority. I'm not saying that. I'm saying they felt different. So what I'm telling you is right now, your husband 1,000% feels different about you. He 1,000% feels different about you. I'm not saying he doesn't love you. I'm not saying that you're not his number one. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm saying he absolutely feels different about you because it's puppy love. Like, that's what this is, right? It's new, all these things, whatever. Like, he's dropping an L-bomb on some other woman. By definition, that he has changed his feelings about you because now he has something else that he loves, and so that has to go into all of these other things. I mean, think about it, right? Like you meet your partner, and you love your family or whatever, right? And then you meet your partner, and I know it's a different type of love, all that bullshit, whatever. It doesn't matter. Well, fine. Just call your friends. Like, you love your friends, all that stuff. You meet your partner, and all of a sudden, the way you feel about your friends is different. I'm not saying you don't love them. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying the way you feel about them is different, right? So this lady, honestly, the reason she asked this question is because she's terrified. She's terrified that what she said was actually not true. And I'll tell you right now, it wasn't. It was 1,000% not true. Like, you're fucking delusional if you think that his feelings haven't changed. He fucking dropped the L-bomb before whatever, like, he had talked to you about it. I mean, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So here's the thing. If you're going to go into an open relationship, good, no, great, good for you. Number one, have way better communication than these two morons. Because this is terrible, right? And I bet they thought they did a good job. And that's the thing, right? That's the thing about introducing something that is not a monogamous relationship, right? You have to be very clear. And that's the problem with non-monogamous relationships, because people don't have enough experience in them to understand what the level of communication that you have to have, right? If you think you have to have genuinely think about this. If you think that you have to have communication in a monogamous relationship, and then you think that it's even remotely close to the same, when it's in actuality exponentially more important in an open relationship with infinite numbers of possible partners, then I can't talk to you. I just can't. Like, you're just fucking stupid, honestly. Like, you're just dumb, because it is so incredibly important for someone. I mean, think about it. If you're in a monogamous relationship and you're having a problem with the other person, but you both believe in the monogamy of the relationship, then the only fear you have is that that person won't talk to you for a little while. If you're in an open relationship and you genuinely know that your partner also loves someone else, not saying who they love more, your fucking fear is that that partner is going to go talk to the other person that they love in the same manner in which they talk to you and confide in you. That is a terrifying prospect for anybody. I don't care who you are. I don't care how mature and evolved you are, whatever. Look, I don't care if you're in a monogamous relationship. I'm saying you better go in with your fucking eyes open and understand that your communication better be way better than these fucking people who are just throwing out goddamn adjectives like they're fucking candy and saying, hey, we set down some fucking rules. No, you didn't. You didn't set down anything. You said, I don't want to meet him and we should trust each other. That's it. That's all you fucking said to each other. You need to have a real conversation about the things that you do and don't want. And you better go deep, and you better have some real fucking conversations and understand that this is how it's going to be, because he doesn't feel the same way about you anymore. Your feelings for him have now changed because now you're questioning him more than you have in the past. That's what you said. That's what I feel hearing it. All of those things are true. And the fact that you think that you don't have to have more communication is basically just affirms for me that this thing's going to blow up, right? Now, you can get it back and you can do all those things, but what I'm saying is you better start talking to him, and you better be prepared to have a lot of conversations, because with an open relationship, this guy doesn't think he's done anything wrong, right? He's not seeing that there was something there, which makes me believe that he doesn't believe that communication is that important. And at the end of the day, if you want to have an open relationship, then you better goddamn well know that the two of you are the foundation of that open relationship, and it's not that guy and this new girl, right? And so that's where I'm coming from. I don't care if you have an open relationship. I'm saying you have done yourself and your partner and your relationship a disservice by not having this communication and having that real solid bedrock foundation of what you guys are. Because this dude's out there fucking telling other chicks that he loves them, like he's fucking handing out flyers. That's unbelievable. But she said she's not even prepared for it. Like, I don't understand. I don't know what other fucking questions she asked. Like, she has a billion questions. I don't know.
It was like
they all sound
related
stupid.
to the friend group thing, which you basically answered. And I really don't think each question got more detailed about the friend group situation, which just reinforces the idea that they did not have that conversation.
Absolutely.
It was, and I think that to further add to even rules for monogamous relationships, they're vague 3, like trust, honesty, or communication, I think it was. Those rules are not even enough to really, for a monogamous relationship,
they're not rules.
to function
They're
well.
not rules. Stop calling them
I
rules.
understand.
They're not rules. No,
I
not
absolutely 100% agree.
They're
I'm
not
just
rules.
saying,
Just
hypothetically,
like
it just doesn't.
They're ideas.
Those are values. They're not rules.
No, they're ideas. They're just ideas. Like, they're just things. That would be like saying time travel. Great. That's a rule in our open relationship. Time travel. It's just a fucking idea. Like, it's just a thing. It's just a thought experiment. That's all it is. Communication is just a fucking thought experiment. What does that mean to you? I don't know. It means different things to different people. Obviously, to you, it means telling me before you introduce him to the friend group. For him, it means fuck it. I don't care. Right?
Yeah, that's me letting you know that it happened, and that can include after the fact. Because for him, that could be functional communication.
Absolutely.
And he's being honest. He's not lying. As so far, I don't think he's done anything hypothetically untrustworthy. So yeah, he technically hasn't broken any of their pseudo rules. But as you said,
it would be basically impossible to do that. Like, it would be basically impossible to break any of these rules, honestly. Like, it's almost literally impossible. Like, even just like honesty, almost literally impossible to break that. Like, just like, it just is. It's just honestly almost impossible to break that. You know?
Yeah.
It just is. I'm sorry, it is.
Yeah.
And people be like, oh, well, lying, whatever. It means different things to different people. Unless you say what it means, that's just whatever. So if that's what you keep going back to, no, you better reinforce that. You better constantly reinforce that this is the idea. This is what I'm talking about,
right? What was I going to say? My initial reaction was the same as yours, that she's terrified of what it means for the relationship. I do want to say, if her husband is not defaulting to like having communication with her before going to friends, then like you mentioned, he's not looking at their relationship, the poster and the husband, as the primary relationship any longer. That has changed, and maybe, like, that's an assumption, but that's like a fear that I think is a valid fear, because he's not looking at it as them against the world. Like you said, something has changed. According to the relationship, what has changed is completely a valid change, because it doesn't sound like they had any conversation about what happens when you love someone. It sounds like maybe they said you tell the partner and you're honest about introducing it, but he told her after the fact. He didn't have like a conversation about it, what it meant to be developing feelings. I think the problem is in life, no matter what, but especially if you're adding an open relationship to it, you don't realize that it's problems until after the fact, and then you have a regret, which is why you need to start having the very explicit conversations, because the more you talk about it before it happens, the more you start to realize how many more things you need to talk about. So if you're not talking about just basic things like, oh, what happens when I think I love someone, because that's inevitable, right? I mean, like you said, half the time, yes, it's maybe an infatuation or puppy love, but that feeling of initial fun and like, especially if you get along really well, and maybe this person even resembles your spouse or your original partner, then like that's going to be an even easier fall in love. Like, it might not last, but if you're not communicating to your partner like, hey, this is what I'm feeling, this is what I feel comfortable with ahead of time, you're not asking questions. Like, there's a lot more questions than just like, does this person come to our house? Do we introduce them to our friends? Obviously a big one. Do we talk openly about our feelings for other people in front of our friends? At what point do we, how much financial spending can go to another partner. Like, people don't talk about that kind of thing, but finances are a huge problem in monogamous relationships. And if you're taking some of your mutual funds and you're going on dates, you're spending money on that, that needs to be very explicit. Like, we get X amount of money per week for this.
I agree. You know a lot about the very specifics of non-monogamous relationships, polyamorous relationships. Sounds like maybe you have some experience in that realm. I mean, you're bringing up a lot of good points about things that, normal people, quote unquote, normal people in those monogamous relationships, those old fuddy-duddies and those monogamous relationships wouldn't think about. So, I mean, look, I mean, I agree. Like, let's listen to an expert here. Let's definitely, somebody who's obviously experienced in that. Let's listen to her and the questions that you should be asking. But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, you're not communicating. Like, you have shitty communication I don't care what you say. I don't care. Like, do whatever you want. Your marriage has shitty communication. You better figure that shit out immediately. You better start being honest with each other. Otherwise, you'll lose that trust.
It sounds like her fears are also like 100%. She's not being honest. I don't think this was a fear that I love you, her husband saying I love you to someone, falling in love. I don't think that's a new fear. I think that's a fear that's been coming, and this is the first time it sounds like it has happened. And so it's a fear she's not acknowledging for herself, which in general in life, that's going to make it 10 times worse, because you're not dealing in your own reality.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like you need to, you're not evolved just because you're in a polyamorous situation. You're not any of those things. You're not better than anybody. You're not doing things better. Whatever, that's fine. You can be, but this lady in particular is not, because she doesn't have the communication. She doesn't have the balls. Honestly, she doesn't have the balls to have those conversations up front. She's not doing it better than other people. There's probably people out there who are, but she's not one of them.
Yeah. The other thing I was going to say is it is unclear if she has mentioned to her husband that she is starting to feel uncomfortable, that it is hard for her right now.
She has bad communication.
Because
that's what I'm saying. She
has
bad communication.
Yeah, and I agree, but I'm just saying that's also not realizing that you didn't put a rule down and then not saying, hey, we didn't talk about this. I'm starting to feel uncomfortable about this. What do we do? Because she's afraid of something, like you said, she's afraid, like, what happens now when we have a disagreement? There's like all those new fears are coming to light. But the thing to remember too is, like, no matter what, if you value honesty, trust, and communication, then you need to also contribute to that and let someone know, I have this fear that started. I felt hurt by what you did. People don't like saying those things. Mm-hmm. But that is being honest and open. And
yeah, no, I totally agree. She needs to, she just needs to pick up her communication. Like, she needs to understand that again, like I said, you're not evolved. You didn't win at life. You're not, something, whatever. Honestly, you're just a really shitty polyamorous participant. Like, you're just not good at it.
Yeah.
You're probably not a very good monogamous one either. It's fine to think you are and to have these things and all that stuff. Like, that's fine. But don't think that you won at life, or that you are advanced in any of these things because you have, some sort of unique or outside the box situation, an uncommon situation, whatever you want to call it. Those were good. Those were good pieces of advice. Honestly, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to be honest with your husband. You need to start having these conversations. You need to set down some actual fucking ground rules, because you're heading for a disaster if you don't do that. So, I mean, I think that's it. I think it's not, this is rocket science. Most of these aren't rocket science. It's not that hard, to figure out that, that this lady's dumb, or she's being dumb. So until she figures that out, she's going to keep feeling this way. So, all right. So I think we did it. I think we did it today. We will stop there. If this lady has anything to say, obviously she could contact us. I don't really care what she has to say. I know I'm right about that. But other people, I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, if you're in an open relationship or any form of polyamorous relationship, like, let us know the details, because we don't really know. We also want to know, like, what are some other rules we missed, or like how, even if you're in a monogamous relationship, like, what problems do you have with communication? Because we can answer those. Any communication problems would be great. Our email is info.yourrelationshipsucks@gmail.com. If you want to privately email us and keep yourself private.
Yeah. I guess that's how it works. I don't really know. I thought Gmail was relatively public, but I don't know. Whatever. Maybe we can't
I
tell who
mean,
you
it's
are.
public, but
Very possible. I don't
we
know.
will, if it's a personal issue, I'm not going to say who posted it, is my point. Some people don't feel
Okay.
comfortable putting stuff in comments.
All right.
You know, some people have boundaries. You don't know what that is. It's
That's boring,
cool.
but whatever. It's fun.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you could comment on the video or whatever. All those things. But we appreciate we appreciate people watching. We will pick up something else next time.